Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cream of the Crop show on YouTube, known as the PMP. I'm your host, TJ Riddell. And today we're talking about NFL football. There is some news to talk about, but I'll hold off until Tuesday. Big news, by the way, involving former NFL corner, one of the best corners in the league history, by the way. Yeah, landed a pretty nice gig. But that's college football talk. We're here for NFL talk. Kurt, take it away. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful Sunday morning. Praise be, because the Lord has given us a great day of football. Not just a great day of football, but just a wonderful week of football, really. We just got done with the Thanksgiving pod that happened last Sunday. Obviously, I was a little late on that. I'm a little late today. And I'm here to tell you something, guys. What a week of football this was. I already covered more than half of week 12 in my last video. It was just me by myself at the time because Caleb was a little busy at work, but that's okay because I got his predictions here. I got his predictions, folks. But we're going to talk about the last several games that we got on tap for week 12. So bear with me. I am going on ESPN right now, and I will let you know what the finals were. Starting off with the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to the Arizona Cardinals. A struggling Arizona Cardinals and a struggling Los Angeles Chargers that have really had a must-win situation in this game. Cardinals being at 4-7, Chargers being at 5-5. So this was a tough game for both teams. It started off with a 7-0 score at the end of the first quarter with DeAndre Hopkins getting a 33-yard reception from Kyler Murray. Then Matt Prater kicks a 43-yard field goal to make it 10-0 in the beginning stages of the second quarter. Then Keenan Allen gets a 2-yard reception from Justin Herbert, making it 10-7. And then DeAndre Carter gets a 33-yard reception from Justin Herbert, 14-10. Then Kyler Murray runs it in for 5 yards for a touchdown. And that'll be the end of the half, 17-14. Then Cameron Dicker, hook 'em. Dicker the kicker. Field goal kicker for the Chargers now. Kicks the field goal and gets the score 17-17. Fourth quarter comes around. James Conner gets a 6-yard reception from Kyler Murray. Scores a touchdown. Makes it 24-17. Then, probably one of the wildest 15 seconds that we've seen. Austin Eckler gets a 1-yard reception from Justin Herbert in a fantastic drive by the Chargers, making it 23-24. Then the Chargers decide to go for it for 2 in this, and they are successful with Gerald Everett with a beautiful two-point conversion to win the game 25-24, your final score. Justin Herbert, 35 for 47, 274 passing yards, and three touchdowns. Kyler Murray, 18 for 29. Not bad for Kyler Murray. You know, he's got to get back to his Call of Duty. Team Thaz. 191 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Justin Herbert, surprisingly, has 4 carries, 38 yards. I kind of want to see a little bit more of the stats for Austin Eckler, but he only got 5 carries, 20 yards, and no touchdown. There's no rushing touchdowns for the Chargers, but 1 touchdown, and that was by Kyler Murray, who had 7 carries and 56 yards. James Conner, on the other hand, got 25 carries and 120 yards with no touchdown. But DeAndre Hopkins had a touchdown in a pretty decent game, 4 receptions, 87 yards. He had a fantastic game. I got to say, he is a phenomenal athlete. I love watching DeAndre Hopkins play, and he's awesome. But James Conner had a reception for a touchdown, 3 receptions for 20, and Hollywood Brown got 6 receptions, 46 yards reception, or 46 yards receiving, and no touchdowns for him. But fumbles were an issue for James Conner. One fumble lost, and 1 interception by Kyler Murray, as I said. But yeah, it was mostly a passing game. Austin Eckler had actually gotten a lot more catches than the receivers. Carter with 7 receptions, Austin Eckler with 11 for 60, Carter 7 for 73 with a touchdown as well. Austin Eckler with a touchdown, and then Keenan Allen had a touchdown with 5 receptions, 49 yards. Pretty quiet game for Keenan Allen. I expected a little bit more yardage, but he's been injured as well. Palmer had a 5-yard reception for 56 yards. Gerald Everett, 4 receptions, 18 yards. And, yeah, what a game for both teams, but it turns out the Chargers were a little bit better. I think Cliff Kingsbury is on his way out the door at this point. I mean, it's safe to say he might be an offensive coordinator for a Pac-12 school here shortly. I think he should go back to college. I think I don't think he's cut out for the NFL, guys. I'll just be honest. There's way better coaches than Cliff Kingsbury on the coordinator level that I think deserves to be the next head coach for the Arizona Cardinals. But that's just my opinion on that. And, yeah. Next game we're going to talk about is the highlight game that I got here for this podcast, because of the fact that what a game this was. It was in overtime, and I did pick the Seahawks to win it, but Caleb got the Raiders by 3. It ended up being a 6-point game in overtime. Raiders found a way to win, and Josh Jacobs had a phenomenal game. 10-7 at the end of the first quarter, ending with a Jason Myers 24-yard field goal at 4:23. Then at the end of the second quarter, Raiders were up 24-20. Pretty high scoring game for the NFL, folks. So we might see a Big 12 shootout. Kenneth Murray looking good, 14-yard run for a touchdown, 27-24. In the third quarter, it's all tied up at 27. At the end of the fourth quarter, Foster Moreau gets a 5-yard reception thrown by Derek Carr, makes it 34-34 with 1:54 left. Then the Seahawks and the Raiders decide to go in overtime with 4:20. Funny. 4:20 left to play in the overtime. Josh Jacobs has a explosive 86-yard run to cap off a big win for the Raiders. And, yeah, a major win for the Raiders, actually. 40-34 in overtime. The Las Vegas Raiders upset the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Derek Carr He had an okay game, 25 for 36, 295 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Geno Smith had 27 for 37, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So they both had an okay game at quarterback. Josh Jacobs, 33 carries, 229 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Murray, 14 carries, 26 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devontae Adams, 74 yards with 7 receptions, and DK Metcalf had 11 receptions and 90 yards. I mean, this was just an incredible game to begin with. I mean, yeah, one fumble by Las Vegas. That was Cole, but he didn't lose it. He recovered it. And on the other side, it was Geno Smith that fumbled, and he lost it to Chandler Jones in that matchup. I mean, what a game. What a freaking game this was, and I couldn't be more happier for both teams. I mean, Seattle, tough loss. Raiders, big win. Next game on tap, I got the Rams taking on the Chiefs. Now, this game was predicted to be a Super Bowl matchup, okay? I'll be honest with you. At the beginning of the season. It didn't turn out that way. Chiefs go in and win 26-10. It wasn't that impressive, but at the same time, Rams have a good defense. They have a hurt offense, okay? And Perkins came in 13 for 20. Oh, excuse me. 13 for 23, 100 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Patty Mahomes, 27 for 42, 320 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Pretty average day for Patty Mahomes. Perkins was also effective in the run game, 9 carries for 44 yards. Pacheco, one of Caleb's favorite rookies this season, 22 carries, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. Van Jefferson, 3 receptions, 29 yards, 1 touchdown. Travis Kelce, 4 receptions, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Kind of a lackluster game for Travis Kelce, in my opinion, but that's not entirely his fault. But, yeah, I mean, it was just a boring game to me. It really was. Like, I expected a lot better from the Chiefs. Me and Caleb did get the Chiefs right in this game, but Caleb was more thinking it was going to be close. I thought it was going to be a blowout. It just ended up being the Chiefs winning 26-10. Just an awful game, in my opinion. Then we go to the last afternoon game, late afternoon game. We got the San Francisco 49ers here in Candlestick Park squaring off against the New Orleans Saints. And this is an interesting stat. The 49ers have pitched 3 straight second half shutouts but right before this game. They just hit their 4th straight second half shutout. And not only did they shut out in the second half, they shut out in this game against the Saints. And this is the first time they blanked the New Orleans Saints since 2001. You know how old I was in 2001? I wasn't even old enough to understand the basics of football. But I was playing Madden 2001 on the PlayStation X, okay? For you old head Maddens out there, you love that game. Really, this wasn't a very exciting game either. Jimmy G had a pretty good game, 26 for 37, 222 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Eli Mitchell gets 7 carries, 35 yards. Andy Dalton was pretty much the stat maker besides Chris Olave. 18 for 29, 204 passing yards, 4 carries, 21 yards. Chris Olave, 5 receptions, 26 yards, or 62 receiving yards. And Brandon Ayuk, 5 receptions, 65 yards. I mean, the only touchdown that I see on here is Juwan Jennings getting a 5-yard reception by Jimmy G. And Robbie Gould was the player of the game, obviously, because he had a phenomenal game. 2 for 2. Good for Robbie Gould. Good for the 49ers. Good win for San Francisco 49ers. They move on to 7-4. Meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints ain't it this year. They still have a chance to win the NFC South. They just got to get past the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. Next game. By the way, that score was 13-0, by the way. Very unwatchable game. Next game was a very watchable game where Aaron Rodgers was hurt in this game. And the Packers have been really playing not good football lately. The only game that really impressed me about the Packers was the Cowboys game. But that's just because they always find a way to beat the Cowboys, okay? They square off against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are the best team in the NFC, in my opinion. But I feel like they're a beatable team. I don't feel like they really are as good as people think they are. But, I mean, they're good enough to beat the Packers. And I picked the Eagles, and Caleb picked the Eagles by 10. He was very close. It was a 7-point game. The Eagles ended up winning 40-33. And I got to say, I'm really impressed with Jordan Love coming into this game. I know it doesn't show his stats on here, but I'm going to go ahead or actually it does, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. When he came into the game for Aaron Rodgers, who threw 11 for 16, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and he was just not having a good game anyway. He was hurting real bad as well. He got hurt pretty bad, but when Jordan Love came in, 6 for 9. So he only had 3 incompletions, 113 passing yards, and a phenomenal touchdown pass to Christian Watson that I was amazed. I was mesmerized, okay? I really was. When I heard, I was in the shower, like I was already almost done with this game, and I heard Jordan Love was playing. I was like, what the fuck? Why is Jordan Love playing? Why is that scrub playing against the fucking Eagles? Why are they benching Aaron Rodgers? And then I noticed that Aaron Rodgers was holding his ribs, and I was like, oh, no. This is the beginning of the end for Aaron Rodgers. I hope not. I actually love Aaron Rodgers. I love the way he thinks about not just football, but about the world, you know, and just his logic and his thinking, okay? But Jordan Love comes in, steps it up a notch, and helps his team out. Christian Watson gets 4 receptions and 110 yards receiving. So I'm assuming Caleb did make this deal. Maybe he could join the club. He could join the Bald Club. It's okay, Caleb. When you watch this video later on today, you're going to be bald. You're going to be real bald. Bald as me. I mean, I'm getting my hair back somewhat, but I mean, it does, wow. I'm thinning bad. But anyway, so enough about me. I mean, Aaron Jones had 3 receptions, 56 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown, but he had 12 carries, 40 yards. I feel like the Packers should run the ball more. They need to run the triple option with a play action pass. They don't need to throw the ball 20 million times. And I know they didn't throw a whole lot in this game, but it just seems like they're not running the ball enough for A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Not like last year. Last year, they were more methodical and more balanced. This year, they're more pass-heavy for some reason. They don't have Devontae Adams. They don't, it's frustrating. But then you look on the other side, the winning side, Jalen Hurts is putting up a MVP season. 16 for 28, 153 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was only sacked twice. QBR 88.5, and his rating was 96.3. And his rushing stats is just as good, if not better. 17 carries, 157 yards rushing. He is the most dangerous weapon in the NFL. I say that because he's a very talented quarterback. He's a very talented passer. Sorry, I had a fly. He's a very talented passer. He is quick as hell. And with Nick Sirianni there, I think he is only just getting better as each week goes. And that is a very dangerous tool right there. And then Miles Sanders had a phenomenal game as well. 21 carries, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. He's starting to become the big thing in Philly. And I was thinking they needed a running back. But now looking at it, it looks like Philadelphia is doing what the Ravens should be doing. Playing really good run offense with their quarterback and running back. And having a really good pass game. So Devontae Smith has 4 receptions, 50 yards. A.J. Brown has 4 receptions, 46 yards, and 1 touchdown. He is putting up a hell of a clinic this year. We'll see how he does against his former team. He's probably going to talk some shit, and I can't wait to see that. Watkins, 3 receptions, 35 yards. Sanders, 3 receptions, 17 yards. Philadelphia looks complete as an NFC team. But can they beat the Titans? I think the Titans are very underrated. And you'll hear my pick here in a little bit. Last game we'll talk about for Week 12, since we only had those games since I cut it to that point. 24-17. One of the ugliest games I've seen in quite some time. And Jeff Saturday really mismanaged the clock a little bit, but it happens. It does happen. He's 1-2 of the season. The Indianapolis Colts lose 24-17. This was all Pittsburgh in this game. They were really controlling the tempo of this game. The only time they were losing was in the third quarter, and Kenny Pickett, Benny Snell, and George Pickens were having a great game. Kenny Pickett didn't throw a touchdown throw, though, but he didn't throw any interceptions. Matt Ryan is the opposite. 22 for 34, 199 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Kenny Pickett, 20 for 28, 174 yards. As long as Kenny Pickett can throw the ball accurately and efficiently, I don't care if he doesn't score a touchdown pass, as long as the Steelers can play good football with him doing that, okay? They just need to primarily focus on the run. Benny Snell, he had to come in for Najee Harris. Both of them scored a touchdown, but Snell had a pretty decent game. 12 carries, 62 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Najee Harris, 10 carries, 35 yards and 1 touchdown. And that was a pretty interesting story about Najee Harris, how he became homeless and then now he's the starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, it's an incredible story, and I would love to hear about it more. But let's get into the receiving stats. George Pickens, 3 receptions, 57 yards. I think he is one of the best rookies in this draft class, and he might be the best best receiver in the rookie class. He's feisty. He will attack the ball. He ain't afraid to catch it one-handed either. I mean, this kid is good. But Deontay Johnson had 5 receptions, 49 yards. No touchdowns on the receivers. Freiermuth, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. I'm not good with names, apparently. Especially names that have that weird spelling. But 3 receptions, 39 yards. And, I mean, it was just dink and dunk passes by Kenny Pickett, but he did a really good job of that. But the Colts offense did not do anything good. Jonathan Taylor was the only guy that, to me, looked productive in this game. But 20 carries for 86 yards, you got to do better for him. You really do. Matt Ryan had a decent game, but it's Matt. He's old, man. He's washed. I don't know what to say about him. But Woods had 8 receptions, 98 yards. Michael Pittman Jr. had a beautiful catch in the end zone. 7 receptions, 61 yards, 1 touchdown. But after that, it was just dinking dunk passes to them, and it was just turnover galore. 2 fumbles for Matt Ryan, lost 1. And Josh Woods had 1 fumble. Or Jelani Woods, I'm sorry. Jelani Woods fumbled the ball, but it was never lost. So he ended up getting it recovered by Fries. So that concludes Week 12 recap, where our record. I'm gonna start with K-Dub. K-Dub went 10-6 in this predictions list. I went 9-7. I was 1 game off, and the 1 game I should have went with was the Jets and Bears. I mean, I was very disappointed in the Bears. I mean, let's be honest. But moving on to week mother effing 13, where I'm pretty sure me and Caleb made this pick. I actually got to look back at his text messages. I don't need to go on ESPN anymore, but I will say this. Caleb was close on this pick, and so was I. Me and Caleb got 10 for the Bills, but the Bills ended up winning 24-10. I'll go over that next week. Right now, I'm just doing predictions. Next game I'm going to go over is the Falcons and the Steelers. K-Dub and I have our first disagreement in this game, or in this week. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning by 13 in this game. I think I'm not really impressed with the Falcons at all. For some reason, Caleb sees the Falcons winning this game by 3. I just don't think that the Falcons can handle that balanced attack that the Steelers are running right now. And George Pickens is just a ruthless receiver, and I don't think none of them corners can hold. I don't think they can hold. What's your name? Yeah. So next game I'm gonna go over is the Broncos and the Ravens. Me and Caleb both got the Ravens winning this game. Caleb's got 10. He's more lenient towards the Broncos. I'm more aggressive about this score because I think The Ravens have too many fucking weapons for the Broncos defense, and it doesn't help out when you're the worst scoring offense in the entire NFL. That's behind the Texans. Texans fans, I'm sorry, but your team is garbage this season. And it's not to hurt y'all. It's to motivate y'all, you know. But yeah, so me and Kato both pick the Ravens. I'm gonna go over 7. I got 17. K-Dub's got 10. Next game we're gonna go over is the Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Bears. I was more lenient about this game. Me and Kato both agree that the Packers are gonna win, but he's got the Packers winning by 10. Pretty reasonable score, I think. But we don't know what Aaron Rodgers' status is like. I'll figure that out as we go along. But I got the Packers winning by 6. I think they need to run the ball more. They need to stop throwing the ball so damn much. If you want to protect Aaron Rodgers and keep him for that 4-year contract, I don't know where this I want to see Aaron Rodgers get traded bullshit's going on. He's not even out of the first year of the contract of the 4-year deal that he got $200 million guaranteed for. So I got the Packers winning by 6. K-Dub's got the Packers winning by 10. Next game we're going to talk about is the Battle of the Cats. The Duval Cats squaring off against the Motor City Thundercats. The Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Detroit Lions. Now, I think this is going to be a fantastic fucking game. This is going to come down to who's got the ball last. I think both defenses are going to have trouble in this game, but it's going to be very, very close for me. And Kato has a 7-point advantage leaning towards the Lions. I got a 4-point advantage leaning towards the Lions. So I think this is going to top off the game of the week, in my opinion. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars have played well, especially against the Ravens, but I got Dan Campbell and the Motor City Cats because they are playing just as good, if not better. So, next game we're going to talk about is the Cleveland Brownies squaring off against the Houston Texans. The matchup we've been waiting for. Deshaun taking on the Houston Texans. And there are going to be cases in those suites because Deshaun Watson's playing in Houston. Me and Caleb both picked the Browns. He's going more aggressive because he thinks the Texans cannot stop the run because of Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And also, it's the Texans. I get that. But I think Deshaun's going to have a little bit of rust in this game, but I think that the run game is going to help out Deshaun Watson, and that defense is just too good to lose for Cleveland. And they just had a fantastic game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. So I am going with 10 points over the Texans. The Browns will win for me. But next game we're going to talk about. This game is going to be a good game as well. Me and K-Dub kind of agree. He's going to go plus 10 for the Vikings. And I'm going to go plus 7 with the Vikings as well. I think Minnesota just has too many weapons. It's going to be a good matchup between Sauce Gardner and Justin Jefferson. I think that's going to be the best cornerback versus wide receiver matchup this year. Definitely a highlight right there. If Sauce Gardner can stop Justin Jefferson, then you got the rookie of the year right there. I do not give a damn if he misses a couple games. He just won MVP or rookie of the year just because of that. Just because of that. Because Justin Jefferson is arguably the fastest receiver, starting receiver, number one receiver out there in the NFL. But I'm going with the Vikings. I just think their defense is skilled and very underrated. And we don't know what Mike White's going to do in this game against a very tough opponent in Minnesota. Next game, we're going to talk about the Commanders squaring off against the Giants. Me and Kata really think this is going to be a close game. But we're going to disagree with one another. K-Dub has his team winning by 3. I have my team, or not necessarily my team because I hate both of these teams. The team I picked by 3. K-Dub's got the Giants. I got the Commanders winning. It will be a fantastic game. Next game, the Tennessee Titans traveling to Philly to take on A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this is a little bit of a rivalry game. Not Eagles and Titans. A.J. Brown and the Titans. So there's going to be a lot of shit talking in this game between A.J. Brown and the Tennessee Titans defense. So they're gonna I don't know. I think the Titans are a little bit motivated in this game. I got the Titans by 7. K-Dub thinks different. He thinks the Eagles are still on a very good momentum, which he has every right to say that. He does. I mean, the Eagles have had very good games, but honestly, the Eagles have not played anybody. And that includes Dallas. Dallas did not have Dak there, and they didn't have the very best game defensively, in my opinion, because of the offense going 3 and out, turnover. But he's going to go with the Eagles plus 10. I'm going with the Titans plus 7. I think this is a very good heated conversation. I wish Kata was able to come on, but he's visiting family right now, which is a good thing, man. It really is. Next game, me and Kata were really close about this pick. We both picked the same team, the Seahawks taking on the Rams. Obviously, I'm going with the Seahawks. The Rams just placed Matthew Stafford in IR. I think the Rams are going to have a little bit of trouble against Geno Smith and the Seahawks. I'm going with the Seahawks by 13. And K-Dub is going to go with the Seahawks by 14. So he's only 1 point off of me. But you might as well call that damn close. And yeah. So we both pretty much agree that the Seahawks are going to win by double digits. Next game is the Dolphins taking on the 49ers. I love what Mike McDaniel is doing over there at Miami. First 8-3 start since 2003, I believe, for the Miami Dolphins. And they look really damn good right now, but so is San Francisco. They have had 4 straight second half shutouts, okay? One of them was a full game shutout, which was last week. I think that streak's going to end, but I don't think the Dolphins are going to beat the 49ers at Candlestick. It's just too rowdy of a crowd, for one. And for 2, Jimmy G is playing his best game right now, which is very fucking dangerous. I'm going with the 49ers by 3, And Caleb is in agreement with me, but he's going to go by a touchdown for the 49ers to win. Next game, we're going to talk about the PMP game of the week. The Kansas City Chiefs are traveling to the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this is an interesting fact. Caleb has brought this up. The Chiefs have a 6-game losing streak against the Cincinnati Bengals at Cincinnati. Okay? And I got to say this. For me, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are the best team in the NFL right now. They are. As unimpressive that last game was, they are the best team in the NFL. They are. They just win games. They're the most quiet, best team in the NFL. That's why I'm picking them by 10, and Caleb is going to go with them winning by 7. He may argue with me about the Chiefs being the best team in the NFL right now, but we both agree that the Chiefs are going to win this game. Next game is a game that me and Caleb were pretty close on again by 1 point. The Chargers traveling to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, who are on a hot streak right now. Both teams won last week. 6-5 Chargers, 4-7 Raiders. This is a big game for both teams. Chargers need to win to pretty much open that gap up. The Raiders need to win to close that gap up. I got the Raiders by 6 in this game. I think Josh Jacobs is going to have another big game. And the Raiders just need to focus on that balanced attack because it is working. The run game is there. The run game is fucking there. They did it to Seattle. Why not the Chargers? You got it, Vegas. And Caleb's going to agree with me. He's picking the Raiders by 7. Last 2 games, but this one is for the Sunday night football game on tap for tonight. We got the Indianapolis Colts, Jeff Saturday, and the Indianapolis Colts taking on them Dallas Cowboys. Now, me and Caleb are pretty much in agreement on this one. I just think that Indianapolis is going to have trouble with the balanced run game between Pollard and Zeke. I think Dak's hitting his stride as of late. The receivers are starting to look really good out there, especially CeeDee Lamb. You know, I'm going with them boys, the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, winning by 17 over Jeff Saturday and the Indianapolis Colts to give them a losing streak, a 3-game losing streak. And Caleb's going to go with 14 in this game. I don't know what his explanations are. I'm pretty sure he'll tell me later on in this upcoming podcast where we'll recap this week. But last and final game before we cut off here. It has been a short podcast. I do apologize for putting this late. Saints 4-8 squaring off against Tampa Bay 5-6, who's on top of the NFC South. This is a weird mother effing situation. The Saints are 4-8, who's in the run for the NFC South title, and the Bucs are 5-6 with Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and they are in first place. I don't even understand what is happening in the NFC South. I predicted a more competitive year for the NFC South. I didn't expect it to be this competitive, to stink, you know? We're dealing with stink bait here, is what I call it. Stink bait. Definition, please, TJ. Stink bait. Teams in one division that absolutely suck. All four of them. All four of them. The Buccaneers have got to figure it out. But me and Caleb are in agreement. We're picking the Bucks in this game. But I'm picking the Bucks by 10 points, and Caleb's picking the Bucks by 3. And that concludes the PMP Week 13 predictions. Okay. And one more thing before I get off here. Later today at noon on Facebook Live, I will be on to watch the college football playoff rankings. If you don't have Facebook, get your girlfriend, get your mom's account, steal it off of there, and fuck it, watch me banter. Basically what it is. I am a college football fan by heart, and I will always be. And yeah, I will say this right now. Tuesday, I will be doing 2 podcasts for NFL and college. The college one will be first. That one will just be the recap of the conference championship games, and then just talking about the college football playoff rankings. And then Tuesday night, it'll be me and K-Dub possibly. I don't know if he's going to be busy that night, but it'll be me and K-Dub possibly talking about the NFL, talking about Week 13 recap and Week 14 predictions. The reason why I'm holding off college football predictions is because there's only one game on tap, and that's the Army and Navy game, and I will be doing a podcast specifically on the Army and Navy game on Saturday, or actually on Friday night, so that way I can educate everybody on the Army and Navy game. I still got to do a lot of research on it because there's a lot more than just branches and whatnot. It is history, football history. So it's basically an educational video for non-football fans that are curious about the Army and Navy game. I really hold that game dear to my heart, next to the Red River Shootout, next to the Lone Star Showdown in college football. I mean, Army and Navy is basically the Steelers and Cowboys to me. But I will say this is probably going to be one of the best videos that has come out for the PMP. I might actually just upload a video. I don't know yet. Just let me know what y'all think in the comments or whatnot. If not, I'll just do a live video. It doesn't matter to me. But I really want to go over the history of Army versus Navy because there's a lot of good history behind it. I was reading about it a little bit earlier today, or earlier this morning because I was at work on nights from 7 to 7, I work a 12-hour shift, and I had a little bit of free time to look at Army and Navy because I want to do that, And being a service member, a former service member, I was in the Navy for 4 years, as y'all all know. It means a lot to talk about Army and Navy. It doesn't matter what branch you are. It doesn't matter what service you served in. If you served, I thank you for your service. It doesn't matter where you're from, where you're at, what background you are. It does not matter. If you served, I appreciate you for your service and your dedication to serve for not just me, not just for everybody out there. Uh, you're also serving for yourself because one thing I do want to bring up as well is there's a lot of service members that commit the S word. I can't really say that on YouTube or they'll shut the stream down. But it's really important to talk about it because, especially if you need to talk to a sailor or a soldier or to an airman or to a Marine, especially Marines, because they go through a lot of fucked up shit, So, I mean, it's important to talk to your veterans too. I mean, life after the military is probably the scariest thing for a service member or a former service member or somebody that's just getting out, Trust me, I've been there. I'm still dealing with it to this day. So if you're a veteran and you want to talk about your story on the PMP, go on the Facebook page, Pigskin Mafia Podcast, or even upload it on Twitter. Send a tweet at Pigskin Mafia Pod on Twitter. Also, send a message to at Pigskin Mafia Pod on Instagram. Feel free to tell your story, and we will share it on our story for Instagram, Facebook. It doesn't matter. I fully support the military. I was in the military. My dad was in the Air Force. My grandfather was in the Army in the Korean War. I have a lot of family in the military. My great grandfather, who passed away several years ago, he was in the Air Force. My grandpa Jim, who was a big Seattle Seahawks fan, who passed away in 2002 when I was 6 years old. He was in the Korean War. I mean, just a lot of history behind the service, and it's really important to talk about Army versus Navy because not only does it talk about the rich history of football, it talks about the rich history behind the servicemen and women, and I really enjoy talking about that because y'all are gonna think I'm weird for saying this, but it warms my heart talking about servicemen and women, and it's one of those things where you see a veteran, don't be afraid to tell them thank you for your service. I still do it, even though I was a Navy guy, I was a sailor for four and some change, I don't expect it because I don't really want to be thanked, because what I'll end up saying is thank you for your support. That's all veterans, and not only veterans, active duty members, reserve members, all them guys deserve the thank yous. Okay. And I'll even talk about my old job on Saturday. And this will be before the Army and Navy game. Okay. I'll talk about what my job was in the Navy and my description, my rate. That's what we call it, a job, a rate, So I really look forward to covering the Army and Navy game. It is going to be the first time in PMP history that this is going to happen. And I really want to do this mainly because of the servicemen and women that have sacrificed for us in the past, present, and we're fighting a war out here, man. There's veterans out in the streets right now that are hungry, uh, that don't have a job. They're struggling, man, because they can't get with the times. They can't get with society. It seems like society has pushed them away. Trust me, I feel this. And it's hard for me to speak up about it because it, it's one of those things where it's hard to tell people that because they don't understand what it's like to be a service member that doesn't feel like he or she doesn't belong, Um, so I mean, all I did was serve 4 years. Imagine a guy that served a good 20 to 25, maybe 30 years. You know, they feel worse than I do. You know, I mean, I'm thankful for the family I have. I'm thankful for the friends I have, the what I call family, and blood family as well, right down the road, Um, the people that have supported the PMP, I appreciate you guys more than anybody too. The guys at work, shout out Epic Midstream. I appreciate you guys more than anybody, and just if you see a veteran, do me a favor, thank them for their service and learn about them, talk to them, talk about their past experiences. And if they don't want to talk to you about it, that's fine. They have every right to tell you, I don't feel comfortable about it. So I really enjoy talking about me personally. I like to talk a little bit about my history in the Navy because it's to educate people about my experience. But I'm very thankful for that opportunity. Um, I wouldn't have gotten where I was in life if it wasn't for the people I've worked with in HSM 72. Shout out to the Proud Warrior Nation. Shout out to the PR shop. 13 Alpha. I mean, those guys really, really shaped me into being a really good service member at that time. And I appreciate each and every one of you that have been a part of my life. And I wouldn't have gone where I am today if it wasn't for my family, my friends, and my coworkers, and most importantly to me is my military servicemen and women that I have served with. It doesn't matter if it was the PR shop or it was a flight deck or if it was the chow line. I fucking appreciate each and every one of you. I do. But yeah, to cap it off, I mean, I had to get that off my chest because I mean, there's a lot of men and women out there that served that really didn't get an opportunity in life to experience society and that feel like they don't fit in. Speak up, man. Help each and every one of yourselves out. It doesn't matter if they're a veteran or not. Help each other out, and also spot the frauds, spot the stolen valors because they deserve to be in jail because I don't tolerate stolen valor. But to cap this off, I'm gonna give one more shout out to SGF Kirk, man. He has been busting his fucking ass writing rhymes ever since I first known him. He was probably writing rhymes before I even showed up to South Texas. He is getting a song featured by Rick Ross, which is a very huge accomplishment in the rap game, or in the hip hop game. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It's music. I'm super fucking proud of that guy. He definitely deserves a lot of recognition. He put in a lot of hard work and sweat, and he speaks the truth about everything, you know. He's one of the realest cats that I've ever dealt with in my life, and he is more than willing to help out people. That's why I feature his song. To get him recognition and to show my gratitude towards him. He is a hell of a dude. You ever get a chance to know him? He is a super cool dude. Very good at Madden, by the way. He kicked my fucking ass one day, and I rage quit. Because I can, you know. But anyway, he is a fucking awesome dude. Get a chance to go on his Spotify, go on his YouTube Music, whatever the fuck you do. Go find his socials, SGF Kirk. Fucking awesome dude. And for him to get a featured song by Rick Ross is a huge accomplishment, especially from where he lives, the school that we graduated from, especially that point in time where there was people hating on him, you know. He didn't give a fuck. He stepped up his game. I'll admit, when I first met it, I was like, it sounds better than I would do anyway. But he has really stepped up his fucking game, and I'm really happy for him. You could just tell. And listen to his fucking music, man. Like, different. That song has hit this fucking podcast, man. That's what this podcast is about, being different. Because we go off script. We talk about what we feel about the game of football and doing something different because we had to switch it up. And we can have all the haters be mad, but we don't give a fuck. And so, with that being said, we are the cream of the crop of all podcasting in YouTube. We are the PMP. Good night, everybody. Actually, have a great morning. Have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you all out. Catch me on Facebook Live, damn it. I'm going to be raging my fucking ass off. Toodaloo, baby. Woo! My 40 hit. My 40 hit. I don't care if you look how step. I don't care if you look how rip. I don't care if you look how step. I don't care if you look how rip. I got sauce. I got flavor. Get it, all this paper. I got sauce. I got flavor. Get it, all this paper. Plain Jane Paddock on my motherfucking wrist. They notice every time when I walk up in this bitch. Post on walk up in this bitch. Keep my clock up in this bitch. Post on walk up in this bitch. Keep my clock up in this bitch. My chopper hit. My chopper hit. My 40 hit. My 40 hit. I don't care if you look how step. I don't care if you look how rip. I don't care if you look how step. I don't care if you look how rip. Doing something different. I had to switch it up. Turned up in my section. Every night we live it up. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck. Doing something different.
like tea. I'm striking like lightning. I'm back in this bitch. I'm talking my shit. I'm back in this bitch. I'm talking my shit. I'm about to get on your ass. I'ma just count me some cash. I'm about to get on your ass. I'ma just count me some cash. Doing something different, and I had to switch it up. Turned up in my section, every night we live it up. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck. All my haters mad, but I don't give a fuck.